So I just got a call to look at a patient's home. Actually, the person's going to be discharged from the hospital, and they want me to look at their home before I clean it. And I show up with this, and I show up with this. Why am I doing all this? Find out in today's episode. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about keeping yourself safe in your client's environment. Now, as you can see, I'm the man who comes in the suit, and people often say, well, you look like you're going in for surgery. Well, yeah, I'm going to go to operate today because your house is really in need of some deep cleaning. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that are necessary in order for me, when I go in, to make sure that I'm not going to go into a toxic environment or a contaminated home and come out with a sickness. So one of the things that happens when I talk to caregivers who tell me that they have a client who's sick, or maybe a person has cancer. Of late, I had a client who had multiple sclerosis, and the offender in her home was actually her husband. Her husband stayed at home, but he was a chain smoker. People with multiple sclerosis need a clean environment because it will affect the neurological behavior in their brain. Particulate matter, especially from tobacco products, is going to be a problem to her being able to live in her own home. So they called me to come in to decontaminate and remove all the tobacco toxins from the walls, from the ceilings, from the windows, from all the furniture, and also we purify the air. But when I went there initially to the home, what I did was I had on my shoe covers and my protective gear. The person who was the smoker was there, and he's like, oh wow, he's got on a mask. Well, yeah, I do put on a mask because I am very aware that I am not aware. And I'll say that again. I'm aware that I am not aware of what has gone on in that house before I arrive. So one of the things that I do if there's a problem with incontinence, and if it's maybe relegated to the sofa, is I'm concerned with not only cleaning the stain of urine leakage on the sofa, but also the bacteria that you will find lurking inside the urine, which will also be embedded in the sofa. And they will find a happy home right in the sofa, and you could sit there on that sofa not knowing that a person has leaked on that sofa, and then you're transporting these bacteria back to your home. You're transporting it to your car. If you sit down on that sofa, you take it back to your home. So this is a surface sterilization device that I use when I'm sterilizing mattresses. I not only clean the mattress with the steam cleaning machine, but also sterilize them afterwards, because you can never be too clean when you're talking about a person with multiple sclerosis or any type of health-threatening situation that the environment may cause an additional stress. My UV glasses, what I'll do is I'll put these ultraviolet light glasses on, and this will allow me to use an ultraviolet light, flashlight here, and I'll just do an inspection inside the home. Generally, I'll do the inspection during the nighttime so I can find if there are leakages of urine stains. It'll detect as a white spot, a bright white spot or speckles. And it'll let me know if there's mice urinating in the house, which is another problem. If the person who's living in the home has leaked urine in some place other than the most obvious places like the sofa or maybe in the mattress in the bed. And so when we're doing home environmental medicine, I'm staying mindful of the fact that the bacteria in the house is contained within the whole capacity of the home. And what generally happens when you have a caregiver, oftentimes their duties will include light cleaning. For me, light cleaning is fine if the house is already clean, but if the house is contaminated, the contamination travels through the entirety of the house. Part of what I do is I walk in, I'll wear my gloves, nice thick PVC type gloves that will allow me to handle items without having to have contact with my skin. There's not a major concern with something contacting my skin unless there's a breakage in my skin. It can enter into your system through your eyes or through your nose. Being mindful of that will allow you to take the proper precautionary measures. Another issue that home environmental medicine addresses is if you have a person who has MRSA, and that's something, it's a microorganism that will eat the skin, and it's very contagious, and it's a problem. It's difficult to kill, but ultraviolet light will kill them. If the person who has Staphylococcus infection scratches their skin and the skin shavings fall to the floor, the nurse doesn't know that they're on the floor. So as she's walking through the home, she's tracking the MRSA throughout the home. With home environmental medicine, you're creating an environment that will reinforce the strength of your own immune system without using toxins. So you want to make sure that your efforts are not going to be stifled in that environment while you're trying to provide care for your client in their home. This is not maid service, this is intensive cleaning. So reach out to us with the information below and we'd be glad to help you.